Now, so we're going to have a look at Preludes here. Thomas Stearns Eliot, T.S. Eliot's Preludes. It's a request by one of you guys sent me a request and asked me to have a look through it. Eliot is one of the dogs, so dead old greats. He's not Irish. He's not a woman. I think he's got a good chance of being on any paper. Um, Remember, if you're coming to somebody, if you're looking for somebody who's going to tell you who's coming up, you're coming to the wrong person. I love the poetry. I'd love you to read it. I'd love you to enjoy it. I'm hoping to break down this poem in a way that's not mind-numbingly boring, although it probably will be. Um, and hopefully you find it interesting. And if Eliot comes up, you can write about him. But I'm not in the business of making predictions. So look, when you look at Eliot's poetry on the course, you can see like there are different types of poems, and this is one of those poems that fits in with the Prufrock and maybe Aunt Helen as well. It's a poem which is very bleak. It describes a kind of um, pessimistic experience of human life. It's set in a kind of an unpleasant urban landscape. It's there's almost a seediness to it, and I think what Eliot is doing in the poem is just exploring kind of the meaning of life without really finding any meaning to life. The title of the poem, I think, is significant. A prelude, is an action or event serving as an introduction. And for me, it's important that I think this poem reflects the bleak worldview that you see in poems like Aunt Helen, or that you see in The Wasteland, or that you see in The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Um, and crucially, I think that in this poem, just thinking about the title is important. What is a prelude? It's a starter before the main course. It's the minor hurling final before the senior match when they used to do that. It's a precursor for something significant. The sense that something significant will come after this, something important. But what I think is really interesting here is that the sense that something that gives meaning to our existence isn't necessarily ever going to happen. That there is no second act, that no significant event will follow our life, that life is banal, our existence is insignificant. And, we are kind of defeated by this modern lifestyle that we live in these urban landscapes. Now, again, I'm not saying we, as in me and you today in 21st century. I'm talking about the world that Eliot is experiencing and is describing in his poetry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this really kind of 4 short videos in which I analyze the 4 different parts of the poem. The first one is this beautifully atmospheric stanza. I'm going to just show it to you now in a second. It captures the kind of ugly reality of life in a polluted urban environment. It's filled with vivid imagery, uses sibilants to create rhythm, but also atmosphere. There's a sense you look around and there's no beauty in the world. There is beauty in the language, but not in the world. Let's have a look at it. The winter evening settles down with smell of steaks in passageways. 6 o'clock, the burnt out end of smoky days. And now a gusty shower wraps the grimy scraps of withered leaves about your feet. And newspapers from vacant lots. The showers beat on broken blinds and chimney pots. And on the corner of the street, a lonely cab horse steams and stamps. And then the lighting of the lamps. I tell you this now. If there's a hidden meaning in it, I don't know. But if you want to see a piece of writing that is evocative, that is evidence of writing's ability to capture the essence of a setting or an atmosphere, then this is an example. Like just look, right? So okay. So we have the sibilants, you know that. So settles, and you have smell of steaks in passageways, and somehow it's almost like a snake hissing. There's a kind of a sinister tone in that beginning. The writer is starting with winter and starting with evening. Both of those are suggestive of endings. There's a kind of a morbid tone at the start, maybe suggestions of death. Certainly the opposite of optimism. This is not springtime. This is not morning time. He appeals to our olfactory sense. We can smell the steaks being cooked. Everybody's living on top of each other. It's like a packed in urban landscape, so you're smelling other people's dinners. It's a smoky day, so there's that pollution. Every building, every home is burning coal to cook and to heat the home in winter. There's a sense that this is about the burnt out ends of our days. It's almost as if the sense that like whatever civilization was, whatever life was, it feels like it's coming to an end. Like if you think of the cigarette image, not that there's any good thing in a cigarette, but in a cigarette, you smoke the good part, and then you get the burnt out end that you throw away. There's a sense of I don't know if you know this word, ennui, like of defeat, ENNUI, that is, of exhaustion. And then there's so much, he's playing with language so much. We have the rhyming of raps and scraps. The leaves are withered. So again, reminders of death. The rhyming of feet and beat. And then you have this gorgeous of stamps and lamps, and this gorgeous, the cab horse is lonely. There's no possibility of, there doesn't seem like there's any beauty here. Everything is dark, everything is isolation, everything is mundanity. And then you have this very vivid image of the horse. It steams, so that's a visual image because it's cold and you can see its breath coming out as it waits on the corner of the street, and it stamps his feet. So that's a great example of what we call aural imagery or auditory imagery. So if you just wanted to write about his style of writing and his ability to evoke a scene, is there a better example of a scene being evoked in Eliot's poetry, in any of the poetry that you're reading? It's like, for me, a word I often use to describe language which is this good. It's immersive. I've never been to this place, but I feel like I have. I can feel the clogging, polluted air, the smoke everywhere. I can smell the stakes in passageways. I can feel the scraps of withered leaves and newspapers, gathering at my feet. I can see the lots are vacant, so there's abandoned buildings. I can see the blinds and the chimney pots are broken. And then there's this one little ray of hope at the end, and then the lighting of the lamps. And into the darkness is this light, this brightness. But the sense is that the brightness, and by the way, what he's talking about is, the way when it gets dark, somewhere somebody presses a button or automated comes on and our street lights come on. But that's what he's talking about. In the early part of the 20th century, it was somebody's job. The lamplighters would go around and street lamps would be gaslit, and they'd go around, they'd light the lamps. But the light is it's not strong. It's not strong enough to overcome the gloom and the darkness that is afflicting this world that's being described. So I think that's a brilliantly written, evocative opening to the poem. I'm going to end that one there, and then I'm going to go to the next prelude.